No, this is still too warm to drink. Hi everyone, I'm Erica and I'm the honest student, and this is my channel where I talk to you about, well, a little bit of everything really. My travel journals, I got my honesty section, my minimalistic ambitions, but today I thought I would start a new sort of playlist segment that I'd like to call Table Tea Talk. But I won't be spilling any tea, so don't expect that, or on myself either. Today I wanted to talk to you about a few things I learned during my holiday. And number one, I can actually let go of things and be totally fine with it, because I'm usually I'm usually a very big control freak. But for this holiday, I sort of let my husband do most of the work, which maybe wasn't too kind of me, but I just felt drained of energy at that moment when we were planning. And normally I'm the one who starts planning like months ahead, but since this was a spontaneous trip, because of that, I think I kind of took a seat back and didn't do anything instead. But the point is, I now know what it feels like not to be in charge and not to have that control over everything. Sort of learning to let go, and I actually did alright. No one died. I didn't have a panic attack or anything like that. I just went with the flow and it was very nice. Number two, that's number one. Number two. And this kind of ties in with number one, because number two is you don't need to plan ahead. Well, I didn't plan ahead, and we really lived in the moment. Usually I would plan my whole week if I went on a vacation. But now instead, we had a few spots that we wanted to visit, but now it's like, oh, should we do that today? Or maybe tomorrow? And we didn't plan further ahead than that, and it made us live in the moment and rather stress-free, and everything happened here and now, and that was just very, very nice. So now I've sort of tried to adapt that to real life. Like, how can I, instead of making these massive to-do lists that I need to do today, tomorrow, this week, the next week, this month, instead of doing that, I've sort of started being more present and in the moment and feeling less stressed as a result of that. Because having these long to-do lists sort of builds up, and, well, it builds up your stress levels because you're constantly seeing this to-do list. So just trying to let that go, and it has been very good. Number three is an easy one. My hair turns into a big mess in salty water. That's number three. Nothing more than that. No, but actually I've been trying to, and I think you can see it right now as well, but I'm trying to not to wash my hair too often. And I didn't do that during our holiday as well. But my hair did turn into a big, big mess. So that's what I learned. Everything you learn is a lesson, right? Number four. I can get very uncomfortable and stressed in a lot of situations, and especially if they're new situations that I'm not used to. And I think we all feel like this from time to time. And I know that my husband tries to push me to do things that I'm not very comfortable with. But here's the thing. Only I can do the pushing. And yes, maybe he can steer me in the direction, but I need to be the one who challenge myself. I need to be the one to take the steps forward, right? That's something I learned. Right, we're at number 5. Right, my favorite thing, my favorite new activity. I discovered a new thing I love to do. Floating. And I don't mean the meditation where you can go. Is it you go to a spa to do that, right? I'm not sure, but you're simply floating in the water. And since it's like salt water is so much easier to float in than if you're in a pool or in a lake, which we have abundance of over here. So I was just laying in the water for a really long time and like, this is so nice. And I probably could have fallen asleep if I'd wanted to. But, so yeah. So maybe I should look up if there are some places close to me that does the whole floating. You know, when you're in a sort of a sway sort of thing. I'm not sure. Yeah. But I think it's a relaxation thing, isn't it? Or it's a meditation thing? I'm not sure. But anyway, floating. Perfect meditation, right? So nice, so relaxing, and if you ever get the opportunity, like, just try it. So nice. Number 6. I hate being on the beach all day reading a book. It's boring. It's super boring. Number 7. Another thing I learned on my holiday, and I think this ties in with the fact that you live more in the present and not worry so much about things. I didn't really have a lot of negative thoughts about myself, because usually when I'm at home or I need to perform in some way, in school you need to, well, do whatever, you kind of have these negative thoughts about yourself. I'm not good enough, I can't do this, I don't look good enough, etc, 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 whatever it might be. These thoughts, well, the exception of one that I kind of was a bit harsh on myself, how I looked in a bikini, well, except for that, these thoughts really didn't enter my mind when we were on holiday, which is quite interesting. How can I how can I get back into the mentality of this holiday mentality where these thoughts don't come into my mind? And I'm not saying like push them away, because it's fine if they come but then they leave as well because they're not true. That's very interesting, isn't it? When you live so much in the present that you kind of don't care how you look or how good you are at something. So that's cool. Number 8. You don't need a lot of things. I've said that before several times now. But you don't really need a lot of things. Like, I had a very small suitcase with me. That was fine, I didn't miss anything. Why do you need a lot of stuff when you have the whole world to explore, right? And number 9, sort of the same thing. Social media. You don't really need social media. I mean, yes, it's nice to connect with people and share stuff from your holiday or whatever. But I think I'm very much addicted to social media. I go out on like Tumblr, Instagram, Facebook every day, and I'm sure I'm searching for some sort of validation. And aren't we all really? When we post something, whether it be a text or a picture, we want people to like it and engage with us in some way, because then they like us, you know, then we're loved or whatever we imagine it to be. But having that removed for a week where you don't really do that, you learn that you don't really need it either. And you won't be discouraged and you won't get depressed when people don't like it. Like, I'm not saying we should stop sharing pictures with each other or something, But I think it's good to just acknowledge that you don't need people to click like on your picture to make you feel better. You will probably just feel better if you don't post a picture at all. This sounds weird, but for me it's very much like, it's not about isolating yourself. It's just, I'm not sure what I'm trying to say. Do you know what I'm trying to say? If so, comment below. But I think what I've learned about myself is that I do get a bit discouraged if people don't like what I post. And I tend to think that people don't like me. They don't really go hand in hand. One is not dependent on the other. We don't need social media to feel appreciated. We need to appreciate ourselves first and foremost. And if we're lucky enough, we have some partners or parents or siblings or friends that walk alongside us and appreciate us as well. But we don't need fake appreciation, if you know what I mean. Do I know what I mean? Number 10. I wrote this down, but I'm not really sure what I mean. You're calm enough to see yourself from the outside. I think I need some tea for that one. You're calm enough to see yourself from the outside. I think what I meant is, how do I put this? I think what I meant is when you're not living your everyday life, when you're sort of removed from all the things you have to do and all these musts, you see a very different part of yourself, and maybe that's the truer part of yourself. And that's what I meant when I said you're calm enough. And when you're in that state, you can sort of look at yourself and say that, okay, I'm like this, or I like that. Like when you remove all the musts, it's easier to know what you want to do, what you're about. So it's easier to see yourself from the outside. I think that's what I meant by that sentence. Or maybe I meant something completely else, but I do like this interpretation of it. So, those have been the 10 things I learned about myself when I was on holiday. Have you learned something new about yourself when you go on holiday? Or maybe just you've learned something new about yourself today, even if you're not on holiday. Or what do you want to talk about the next time I sit here with my cup of tea? Just send me a comment below and let's see if we can discuss that next time. So until then, take care, have fun, do something crazy.